Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to share with you the part 2 of my first investment property journey. If you have not watched the part 1, I highly recommend you to watch the first part, because in that first part I elaborated where I bought my first investment property, why I bought my first investment property, and what was the rationale. So I must ask you to first watch that so that you'll be able to understand of what I am saying. My goal is to make you think. My goal is to show you what are possible in this country and how you can become financial independent through investment journey, and what is my thought process, so that you can think in that same line and you will be able to act and make your life easier. Okay, all right, so if you are interested, then let's go through it. All right, so as you know, in the first part of this video I actually went through and talked about that where I bought my first investment property. It was in between Brisbane and Gold Coast, and in that area I bought not without knowing about the councils, not without knowing about why I am buying there, but there are some thought process, some knowledge, but not much completely. Okay, so how I bought this property: took 80% bank loan and the remaining 20% that I paid from my pocket. So when I bought, the first thing that the current tenant at that time, they were living in a complete disgust. There are a lot of cluttering, there are a lot of stuff into that, and our vendor or the owner, they were like, they wanted to just get rid of that tenant, and they also wanted to sell that house because they wanted to buy in another place. So that was one of the key part. It was like a highly motivated seller. It was for sale by own. So I bought with one condition, and then immediately, because they had a periodic lease at that time with the tenant. So I asked that, yes, I will buy with the subject to condition of the tenant has to move out, because I did not like the tenant, the way they were living. I thought that they were damaging the house, and that was one of the part, is that you would be able to dictate that who the tenant will be. As an owner, you can dictate. You do not leave it to the property manager, because property manager sometimes will just get that anybody to get that, but you are the one who would be able to tell, you would be able to check the application process, and you decide. Particularly in the hot market, you will be able to decide. At that time I said no, I did not like them, so I wanted to have a vacant positions, and then I am going to do this. I am going to fix few things. Now few things in the sense, there are few things that was not compliant. So one of the things that was not compliant, and let me see if that photo is still there or not. Yes, is not there. So these bars were actually horizontal in this way, not vertical, horizontal. Now if you see, if the bars were horizontal, I find it is particularly particularly if somebody has a young child or kids, they can jump and they can climb, and can be a disaster and problem. In fact, the Queensland government clearly makes a rule that it needs to be vertical. In fact, anywhere in Australia probably this is the rule. So this is one of the things that I did. As you see, at that time I actually got a contact with the builder, and I fixed few of these things. How did I fix it? Of course, it's go to the builder and tell that, this needs to be done, how much would be the quote, give us the quote, and then I had to do. Of course, at that time I did not take multiple quotes. I just contacted one person. In fact, that builder came from the owner's somebody relatives only, so I went through with them. However, my recommendation would be, in today's world, is always get multiple quotes and then choose based on that, if you do not have a preferred builder. He did a good job. He was an old guy and he fixed all these things. About $6,000 or $7,000 I had to spend to fix few of the things so that the house can be rentable. Now guess what? Whenever I fix all these things and I sold to one of the real estate agent, at that time he started his real estate journey. He was working for someone else. He started his own company, and this was his first property, and he was so amazed, and we were also talking, and he became my friend, and it was great to know him. He took his assessment. I am going to fetch 520 per week rent for that property. And just to show you where is that, so let me see if that current rental income is saying 715, but let me see if I can show you. I think I'm pretty sure it is there where you would be able to see that where is the how much was the rent at that time. But let me check quickly if I can get it. So it's on Marsden, and in that area, if you see, is sorry, I need to go to 9 Diana Street, Marsden. 9 Diana's not valuation. I need to tell that it is sorry, for some reason it is a bit slow. Marsden, and here is it's coming the property value only, now the same thing. I need to go and I need to check, maybe in the domains I will be able to check. Yeah, here it is saying 705 and all sold. Yes, so if you see the sold again 367, see it is for sale by owner Australia. It was listed for 210 days. Finally it got sold in 2015. So 210 is almost 6-7 months. And it was rented, you see, 2015. Okay. So 2016 January, it is, I think it was October, November, September I put a contract, October, November, probably November, December, I think it put January, where after 34 days listed 520. I think I didn't wait for 34 days, but I think a couple of weeks, and I got that. So 520 per week. Now 2016, 2017, and then in 2019, where the interest rate got down quite a bit, I had to drop the rent a little bit, although I was still making money because the interest rate went down. You could remember it was 2%. Those are the days where the interest rate was really low. Now right now this fetch about 650, and I don't know why it is not showing here, but 650 right now per week, and I can even bump it to around $700 because of the housing crisis and overall. But I'm actually the current tenant, they have been staying for long, so 650 is what they are paying right now. So if you do the simple calculation, then you will be able to see that 520 per week a property that it is fetching, and I paid 367. Even after all this cost, it is a positive cash flow property. And that is one of the key principles. You would be saying, oh, how come you got this one? Because not many people were looking at that time, which is why you need to find something, a place or somewhere where not many people looking, and you would be able to gauge and understand that, okay, this price average, as long as it is grows average growth, then you will be better off than buying in a hot area or somewhere where lots of people are buying. Okay, so this is the rent, and if you see that around 7.5 or 8% return, that 7% I was getting, which was quite lucrative. Even nowadays, a lot of people are buying 5%, even 4.5%, although the interest rate is around 6.5%. So clearly lots of people are buying negative gearing properties. I highly admire people, those who buy positive cash flow, because this is rare. You need to buy something which is out of the ordinary, which is, you can buy a house where in the back of the house you can put a granny flat, or you can subdivide something, and this is the part. Now one more thing that I wanted to talk is what I have done today. I have not done anything since I buying. Few expenses I put, of course, as I said, that the swimming pool is being chopped off. There is no more swimming pool, and also I do not have that photos. So let me show it to you. One more thing that will actually help you is Google Map. I love Google Map. So in Google Map, what you can do, any houses that you are if you are buying, what you can do something is like this, right? You can go and see. Now the front of the house looking like this. Can you believe that these trees is blocking so much that you don't even see the house? This trees is massive. Okay, one or two, these two trees has been cut now, so it is of course the old photos, Google Photos, but this is how the location. So even without going to that place, what you can do is that you can literally go and check and do something like this, which is, look, this is the house and this is the street, and you just to see, you would be able to do and roam around and go to the other street and see how does it look, the other street houses or the same street, what are the different neighbor houses, you would be able to see. So this is something that I want you to do. Like if you are looking for a property, make sure that you go to via Google and see in that street and kind of a feeling. But nothing can beat of going there physically and inspect by yourself, because no one takes care of your property the way you do. You could say that, oh, my buyer agent is giving me good deal and all nonsense. Buyer agent can only make your life easier. If you don't know, you can ask question. Yes, they can bring deal, but you have to do it yourself, because guess what? Once the buyer agent is giving the property and that's it. Once the property has been sold, and buyer agent will hand it back to you, and now it is yours. They're not going to 5 years down the line, if there is an issue, they're going to come and fix it. No, that doesn't work, right? So it's you. And if you see from this side the house, one part you would be able to see, like if you go a little bit this side, and if you see, this is the house, which is 2-storied building. So you would be able to see. I highly recommend that you do this and get a feeling of where it is on different areas. This is actually quite nice that way to able to see this. One more point that I wanted to raise, that because I didn't do much, this property that I bought is in my own name, and that's a significant part, because I was buying the first property. If I go back, this is another mistake. I should not have bought in my own name. I should have bought in a trust, family trust, or other form of entities, particularly in a family trust, because buying a own name, then it was actually hindering a bit in terms of my borrowing capacity, because all the loan is in my own name. And when I wanted to buy my second property, I had a little bit of kind of a difficulty. But then third onward is not a problem, because second property I bought in my family trust. But that's a discussion for some other day. So okay, now you saw this property, and as I said, I didn't do anything. It's just the generic growth that I have got. But I went to that property every single year to inspect the property. So every time my inspection, like once a year in March, I actually went and saw and inspect that property. And this is an important part. If you have an investment property, if you are planning to invest, you have to inspect that property at least once a year with your property manager. Because if you go with the property manager, the property manager is going to take care of that property and will be extra careful, and it is yours. So you will be able to see what's happening, what are the things that needs to be fixed. And you basically becoming an active investor, not like a passive. There are a lot of investors who never ever go to see their properties, and that is a very bad way of investing, because you don't know what's happening, and the property manager also not going to do all the checks and everything 100%, because they know the owner doesn't come, they just buy it for negative gearing or something. So make sure you inspect at least once a year. If not, even every 6 months you can inspect, and that is even better. You might say, oh, that a lot of time, because no, how much? Tell me. From here on a Saturday morning, you can take a flight. If you are living in a different city, take a flight, go there, inspect, and by evening you can come back. Of course, if you are living in Sydney and if you are buying somewhere in Perth or in Northern Territory, then probably you can't do this on the same day. Having said that, you need to also find out that why you are buying in that far. If you are living, there are so many other deals nearby. If you do a compare, so it's better to buy in a nearby area rather than looking for quite far. That's just my opinion. Again, my goal is to make you think. My goal is to give informations. It's up to you to think, and because I don't know, I'm a random YouTube guy, and I would be able to only give some of my thought process, some of the things that I buy. You need to decide. Okay, next point that I wanted to raise is why it is 1,000 square meter block. Now I could have bought like 600, 650 square meter block also. My thought process at that time was to subdivide. That if I have 1,000 square meter block, the front would be 400, 420 and the back side would be 580, 600. I'd be able to subdivide. What I did not know is this distance. If I thought that as long as it is enough, the car can pass by. In my case, my house is 3.75 meter, so it's easy, I can subdivide. I did not know that there is a requirement of 4 meter, which is why that it was a for sale by owner, which is why they could not sell it to investors, because if it was a more than 4 meter, it is like anybody would be buying and able to subdivide, and it would have been a done deal for any professional investors. The reason it was less than 4, which is why it was there, but at that time I didn't know, I still bought it. So this is something that you need to understand, that can you subdivide? Even just because it's a big land doesn't mean that you can subdivide. You need to understand the council rules. You need to talk to a town planner, and you need to see these council requirements. And if you see that yes, you can buy, the town planner says yes, you can buy by doing this, then only you go ahead. In my case, of course, if I buy today a property, of course I am going to do a lot more due diligence, lot more checks. Back in those days, I did not know. Okay, so in a nutshell, it was a positive cash flow. Even today, now of course my loan got reduced in the last 10 years. The price have gone up and I am making money. Of course the rent has gone up as well. Interest rate, although it was gone up, but the rent has gone up quite proportionally that way. And my loan amount is drastically low. So I have a good amount of equity in the property. And in fact, like 3, 4, 5 years, I think in 2020, I actually refinanced that property and used that money to invest in other avenues. So this is something that I wanted to share with you. My first investment property, where I bought it, what is the location, and how I ended up buying this, and of course what is the thought process and what I did up until now. As I said, that not much, but in future, guess what? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years down the line, the 1,000 square meter block will remain 1,000 square meter block. No one can take it. And this is one of the key points that I wanted to highlight, is the land is not going anywhere. The house might deteriorate, might do something, you have to renovate, but the land will remain same. If the zoning gets changed 10 years, 20 years down the line, who knows, you can even put townhouses if you want, and in that case 3 or 4 townhouses you can put in a 1,000 square meter block. So sky is the limit. In that way you can buy the next door neighbor, make a 2,000 square meter block, and probably put a nice gated community townhouses as well. That's a big project, big money, but something that even you can sell it to an investor and they might give you a good bucks as well. So investing is about focusing or like future proofing in a way, like what could happen 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line. And if you believe that you can keep that property, if you can hold that property for that long, then you'll always make money. That was my thought process, and that was the reason I actually bought my first investment property. I hope you found some value out of this video. Remember, my goal is to make you think. My goal is to showcase you the true picture and how it made that money, and what's the process of why I bought this property. Hopefully you got something and you'll be able to take action because of that. As always, if you have any comments, put in the comment section. I'd love to read your comments and see that where you are as part of your journey, and where did you buy your first investment properties, and what are the mistakes that you made. As I articulated quite a few mistakes that I made, I'm pretty sure that you would be able to do few as well. Look forward to your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.